Welcome to Life Mastered, the podcast, where high achievers and ambitious souls come for the kind of support that fuels both inner growth and outer strength. This is your space for real tools and deep truths, for meeting life's greatest challenges with grace, resilience, and self-connection, and also expanding into your next level of purpose. I'm Matt Kjar, your host, master coach, mentor, and guide, because life mastery is not about checking boxes. It's about how you meet yourself in every moment along the way. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast this week. I am so over the moon to have Matt Kjar here today. Welcome, Matt.
Hi, thank you for having me. I love this. Thanks, Molly.
Oh, this is so exciting for me. I met Matt, I don't know when it was, years ago when he was working for the life coach school and I was pretty involved there. And I remember chatting, getting to know each other, having lunch in a group together and everything. And then I've also worked with you a little bit in my own business with some video. So
Ah, I
yeah.
love it. Yes. And I still remember that lunch conversation. I think it was a lunch conversation because you were so engaged. Like I remember looking at you, and I'm trying to remember who was sitting next to you. It might have been your sister, but
hmm
and I just remember being like, they're so cool and so fun to talk to. I love this so much. It was, and I was kind of new in the coaching world, and I was like,
Yeah.
these people are amazing. So I'm so
So
excited
fun.
to
Yeah,
hear.
we definitely have a great connection for sure. And a lot's changed over the years for both of us, right? And in the coaching
Absolutely.
world and everything. So and one thing, and in a minute I am going to introduce you, but I the other thing I was thinking is how fun it was to run into you in Paris,
Yes.
right? So I know you've worked with the Olympics for, is it now 26 years? Since 2001, is that right?
2000, yeah, since 2002. Those were the first Olympics that I ever worked on. Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
I remember getting your message because I had posted something about being in Paris, and you're like, I'm here too, and it was so fun to like meet up, and you found some because I have a dairy allergy, and you're like, I found the best crepe place that you can go to, so it was just so fun to kind of trundle around the city with you for a little bit and just kind of
Yeah.
like talk about the Olympics, and it was great. I loved it.
So fun, so fun. How often does that happen, right? So anyway, so Matt, now that we've chatted, let me tell you a little bit about Matt. Matt, I want you to tell my audience about you as well. So Matt does video and video specifically for a lot of coaches, and he can tell you more about that. But what I love about you, Matt, what I love about Matt and the work that he does is that Matt is also a coach, and not just any coach, but a coach who, in my experience, really understands and desires to continue to understand the depth of the human experience and what we experience emotionally and how the way we think plays into everything. And I what I know about Matt and what I love is that he is invested in being a part of implementing powerful change and supporting human beings in just important work in life. So that's a little about Matt. But Matt, tell us more about, yeah, what would you say? What would you say about you and your what you do?
Oh, that and thank you for that. That's very humbling and honored. Like I feel like when I found coaching and I was like, wait a second, like this can impact everything. I was like, this is what I want to help people with, like helping people implement change. So I've been doing video and television production for over 20 years, and I've worked on everything from reality television shows, news, documentaries, commercials, all sorts of different things. I've won a couple of Emmys, which were
Pretty cool.
storytelling episodes, which has been amazing and so fun. But when I found coaching, I was like, wait a second, this is different. And it happened at a time. So me and my wife and our kids, we have four kids, and we had taken this year-long road trip. We'd sold everything, and a lot of that was because of coaching. My wife was involved with some coaches and was learning about coaching, and so she was like, "Well, they say I can make anything happen, and I want to make this happen." And so we sold everything and went on a year-long road trip. Originally, I had the idea as kind of almost like a television show, and then she was like, "No, we're not going to do that," because she was like, "I've been on enough production shoots with you to know that if we were out on the road in an RV, that you would be out filming interesting things, and I'd be stuck with some kids." And then she was like, she came to me and she's like, "You remember that idea? We should do that." And I was like, "No, we're not going to do that," because I was in the middle of that show that I had won several Emmys for, and I was loving what I was doing. And she's like, "If we don't do this now, we're not going to do it." So we sold everything, hit the road for a year-long road trip to go see all 50 states and we called it an empathy expedition, to see what life was like in other people's shoes. And as we were doing that, I didn't realize, I learned very quickly how much I'd put my value into my work, like into the personas, into the experiences that other people, were paying me for, or external validation, all that kind of stuff. And I very quickly was like, "Oh, I don't even have to be here. Like, she could drive the RV. Like, the kids aren't really relying on me for a whole lot." Like, all of a sudden I had almost an existential crisis. Like, what value am I bringing to the world? What value am I bringing to my life, to my family's life? And that's when, at that moment, is when I found coaching. My wife introduced me to several of the different coaches that she'd been listening to. She'd been in parts of different programs, and all of a sudden I was like, wait, if I can design my life the way I want it to be, I want to have more connection. I want to have more love. I want to be seen. I want to be heard. I want other people to be seen and to be heard and to tell better stories. And so, fast forward several years, I came back and we came back from the trip, and I did everything that I possibly thought I could do to try and get into that world of helping coaches with their stories, because I felt like that was like, if this is as powerful as it was for me, I want to help other people have that same power, to be able to understand, oh, I can feel all my emotions and they don't have to be scary. I can have the depth of feeling and the depth of emotion, and I can also choose the thoughts that I want to think. And I can recognize, I can change habits, all these different things that I've been able to learn through coaching. I was like, I really want to act as a megaphone and amplify those people's voices. And then as I started working with clients, I was like, oh, it's really about being seen and being heard and telling better stories. And for coaches to be seen and heard, they have to see themselves. They have to hear themselves. They have to recognize, okay, is this something that somebody else is telling me that I want, or is this actually what I want? Is this marketing that somebody, because hey, I'll be the first to say, I know the power of marketing, because I take place and I like produce things, and I always am like, I've said this to anytime I bring somebody into my business to do editing, I'm like, I am gonna, or to, produce videos or anything like that, or start teaching clients. I'm like, okay, I am about to teach you some things, and this is really powerful, and you need to promise me that you're not going to use it against people. Because
Yes.
it really can, like video and audio and a lot of those things can almost hijack, like can jump over, and speed things through, because they are so emotional. They can kind of sometimes like ramrod their way through things. Like, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but I've been like in movies where I'm like, oh, I do not like how I'm feeling right now. And it's almost like I didn't really even choose any of these things. I did choose them because I walked into the movie theater. I paid the money to go see the movie.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, so anytime I teach those elements, I also am like, I feel like it's really powerful and important to use them in a way that is for the best of the people on the other side.
Right. Right. Oh
when we're
my gosh.
communicating, like there's two people, there's always two people. And so as part of the communication loop, like you have a sender and a receiver, and you have a message that's sent, and then you have feedback that it's received or that it's not received. And
Mm-hmm.
being very aware of the other person on that other side, oftentimes we're the sender, being aware of the receiver and being like, oh, like I want to make sure that I am sending the message that's true to me and that will be the best for that person on the other
Mm-hmm.
side.
Mm-hmm. So much integrity really needs to be in place for us to use marketing tools well and wisely, right? Like wisely, and I'm trying to find the word. It's just like with genuine love and concern for the other person's, like for what's best for them,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah.
And in my opinion, that's part of the reason why we're in the place that we are with media and with marketing and all that kind of stuff is because oftentimes people, and I've experienced, I worked in a newsroom. I remember
Mhm.
the news director coming in, and there was a story that was really there was somebody who was going through something very extreme, and the news director came in and was really excited because we were going to break into, breaking news. We were going to break into the middle of programming, and he was talking about the person who was on the other side of this, who was going through this experience, and he was like, "Oh, let's see if she still holds her luster. Like, let's see if this person is still, grabbing enough attention." And I was like, that was the day that I was like, I don't want to be here. Like I don't want to be in the newsroom anymore because this is not
Mhm.
like that's
Mhm.
not what I'm working towards. I'm not
Mhm.
celebrating at the other end of somebody else's tragedy. Um,
Yeah.
and so like recognizing that's one thing that I'm always trying to be conscious of is like what is the on the opposite side of whoever is sending this message, what is their goal and what are they trying, like are they trying to hijack my nervous system and make me feel um, you know triggered or whatever the word might be,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then
Mhm.
recognize why, and then just be honest. Like there's only one thing that I can do. I can control what I can do. So then I
Mhm.
can say, okay, what do I want to hear from this? What do I want to see from this?
Mhm.
And what do I want to take in? And what do I want to let fall by the wayside?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, oh my gosh, we could have a whole episode on ethical marketing, right? And so we'll put a pin in that and we'll maybe circle back another time because I have so many thoughts. But one thing I want to ask you, so you've said this a couple of times, wanting to help people to be seen, heard, and tell better stories. And in video, right, in what you're helping them to produce, they're being truly seen and heard for what they offer, for who they are, kind of the essence of what they bring. And within that, telling better stories to help people understand and probably to help people take action on what people know that they need. Is that part of it? Is that kind of
Yeah.
landing? Yes.
Well, and it's so like it can be very like I like to think of things almost like a spiral staircase, right? Like anytime
Mhm.
I take in a concept, I learn a new concept, I feel like I'm at the very bottom of that spiral staircase, and I keep re-experiencing that concept, and then I get to the next level, and I'm like, oh, wait a second, like I saw it from this level, now I see it from another level, and now I see it from another level. So on the surface, very, very surface level, right, of being seen, heard,
Mhm.
and telling better stories, it's simply like, I want you to be on camera. I want your microphone to sound good. And I want the
Mhm.
content that you're telling, like a good story. Like that's one of the freebies that I offer as like a storytelling course. But I
Mhm.
want you to tell a good story because we operate through stories. But then the next layer is like you have to be confident on camera to be able to feel like
Right.
you're seen, and you have to be able to feel like you've seen yourself and really know your message to go to. So
Mhm.
that's that next level, right? And then there's like an additional level behind that that's like, so then you have to understand like to see the concepts that you're trying to share with the world. And so it just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it works on the surface level. Like literally, I say, my
Right.
only job is for you to be seen and heard. And so,
Yeah.
like, I'll go to an event, and like sometimes this has happened where I go to an event and they'll say, "Hey, before we start, can you explain to everybody about the cameras and all that kind of stuff?" And I'll be like, "Well, my only job here is for you to be seen and heard, and so you are seen through the camera, you're heard through the microphone, and but then." Also, and it's funny because like the people that I work with, I always am very cautious about the people that I bring on events and bring, especially when I'm working within a coaching world.
Hmm.
I have videos where I have them watch videos in advance and say, okay, we're going to be entering a sacred space. Like
Mm.
when we go into a coaching atmosphere, these people are bringing deep things. They're bringing sometimes very hard things, and so you as a videographer, like you have the honor and the pleasure to be able to step into this space. I want you to be prepared for that, and I want you to be like honor the things that they're saying. Like be very cautious.
I mean, it's so important because you and I know, right? As coaches, we really are in a sacred space where we get to be a witness of, of someone's struggle, of someone's feelings, of someone's just like everything. I love that so much.
Yeah. And somebody could just be like, well, yeah, because any camera can see you, any audio can hear you, right? So that is surface level, but then there is a depth behind that. And so
Mhm.
in fact, one of the guys that I work with, he called me up and he was like, I just love that being seen and being heard. Can I use that on my website? I'm not trying to steal your intellectual property or anything, but I really feel like that resonates. And I was like, sure. Like, I don't own the phrase. Like, I'm not putting a
Yeah.
trademark on it or something like that but I feel like the more people are seen and
Hmm.
heard, the better society will be. And when we
Hmm.
tell better stories, stories that not just better, like better constructed, that's one aspect of it in the
Sure.
production, but then also better stories to ourselves, better stories to our kids. Like we don't have to continue to re-articulate and perpetuate some of the misnomers, some of the stories that didn't help us in our youth.
Mhm.
I love seeing some of those social media videos where it's like, well, if you grew up during this time, you probably heard this phrase. And my kids have watched that and they're like, you never heard that phrase. And I'm like, oh, I for sure heard that phrase. My dad said that one all the time. And they're like, what? Grandpa said that? I'm like, yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
And all the time. And also recognizing that, okay, if I want to tell better stories, I recognize that some of the stories that like my kids might take on and that the things that they might have seen me say, some of the generational trauma, that kind of thing,
Sure.
some of those stories, like they might leave some of the stories behind that I hold dear. And I can be like, oh, okay, I
Mhm.
can see how that might not have, it maybe served me. It might have served me
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
it might not serve you. And so letting them tell the stories that they want to tell as well. So
Mhm. Mhm. Oh, I love this. And yeah, I so many thoughts. I feel like you could have a coaching program on being seen, heard, and telling better stories, like for a year that could just like go deeper and deeper right into these concepts because it's true. It's like, okay, let's make sure, is the camera good? Is the mic good?
yeah,
Right? And is the story put together well or telling a story that's creating something positive or growth, right? And then also just thinking about from a marketing perspective, right? When I'm putting stuff out there, even if my voice is heard, are things positioned in a way where people can hear what's being said, right? Or are there words, just so many things, right? Can get in the way of people being able to hear. So
yeah,
I love that. And also, and I know we talked about this a little bit, before we started recording, as we were talking about what we were going to dive into, is right? In order for me as a coach, as a business owner, to really have that confidence you spoke about, right? To be confident, being seen, being heard, and telling my stories, I first have to be able and willing to see and hear myself,
yeah,
right? I mean, and this is the thing, and it's like, in master coach training, where of course I'm teaching, right, about thought patterns and emotion work and the nervous system and action strategies, and that's all fantastic. And also underneath it and in between it and woven all throughout, the work I'm doing with my clients is helping them to know who they are, to see who they are, to understand what they need and what they want. And how do we attend to our needs in such a way that we are the most whole version of ourselves? And I will preach this all day long, that when as we as human beings can really see ourselves, care about ourselves, attend to ourselves, and really have that nurturing, true, like intimate care that we would give a child that we're caring for. As we do that, we become capable of, and we put ourselves in a position to be of the greatest service to other people. You cannot skip over it. You just can't.
No.
You can give, right? Someone can deny their own needs and ignore themselves, and they can do a lot of things, right? They can go do the food pantry, and they can serve here, and they can do a lot of things. But I just believe this, that when we are seeing ourselves, hearing ourselves, validating our worth as a human being, and ensuring that truly all of our deepest and most important needs are met, we are at a new level. We have a new foundation where the type of service and care and connection that we can give people is extraordinary. Extraordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much because when you have that deeper foundation, like it speeds things up. I years ago I worked on a program with a company called Franklin Covey, and they have a book called Speed of Trust.
Mm.
And so I worked on
I'm
this
sorry, did you
series,
say speed up trust?
Speed of
Speed
Trust.
of trust. Okay,
Speed
keep
of
going.
Trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we I worked on this series where we were talking about how when you trust somebody, you like it speeds everything up. Everything goes faster.
So true.
And it was so fun to watch, to edit these videos and to work on this series because they were showing like different organizations and different big companies, and how when the people trusted each other, all of a sudden all this friction went away. And the same is true with you as an individual, right? When you
Mm-hmm.
trust yourself, it speeds everything else up. You're not like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Like there's so much less waffling and so much less um, indecision, overwhelm, all those things that we tend to spin in. And when you trust yourself and when you know, okay, I am safe, like I have safety. Safety is one of the biggest things that we as humans are always seeking for. And it's one of the things that, especially with video, it's funny because I've seen this so many times when all of a sudden somebody's like, oh, all of a sudden that little red light went on. All of a sudden I knew I was being recorded, and all like I froze up, I clammed up, and I was like, what's happening there? What's behind that?
Mm-hmm.
When we trust ourselves, when we trust people within, like when we trust our clients, when our clients trust us, when we trust our family members, it doesn't matter who it is. When we have that trust, and that comes from being seen, being heard, telling better stories. It allows us, when we see other people for who they are, when we hear them for what they believe and what they want, it allows us to do the same thing for ourselves, and it speeds everything else up. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so powerful to have that foundation. Just do what you were talking about. Like you can't skip over those parts. You
No.
can't skip over it. If you do it, you'll always, just like that spiral staircase, right? You'll get to this certain level and be like, oh, I did not learn that way that time. I apparently need to keep learning this in a different way, and we
Mm-hmm.
keep spiraling up and up and up, and deepening our foundation, deepening our knowledge, and deepening our understanding of it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. And that speed of trust, it's so interesting because another thing that it brought to mind for me is how um one of the like the first thing I work with my coaches on is understanding how that coach client relationship, that rapport, that trust, that sense of safety is going to be that is the indicator of if the client is able to change and move forward, right? It is that trust. And I've seen this before, right? When a client comes to me, a new client comes to me, and they already, if someone referred them to me who they trust with their life, they just like, it's immediate trust, it's immediate comfort, and they feel so safe making that decision, right?
Mm.
And I love remembering that, and especially as you were saying, relating it to the trust we have with ourselves. And like to those of you listening, what a good moment to think for just right now, like, and without any judgment at all, right? Like, how am I doing as far as how much I trust myself? Like, do I follow through for myself? And again, with no judgment, I can't say that enough, with no judgment, right? Do I follow through for myself? And if not, um, how could I show up for myself a little bit more, right? How can I build that self-trust just a little bit more so I can feel safe in my own body, in my own skin?
Absolutely. Well, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
interesting because what that does when you have that trust and you have that anchor for yourself, and you feel that safety, you're more willing and more ready to talk to people. And that's one of
Yeah.
the things that marketing does is that it does create like podcasting is a beautiful form of marketing because what you're doing is you're offering people a voice, you're offering
Hmm.
them a way to hear you and understand you and to know about the concepts, and then it creates trust with them, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
creates knowledge that like, oh, okay, like they come to you and they feel like they know who you are because you've been in their ear for so long. The same is true with video. Like when you have a video, when you have content that you're sharing that gives them transformation, that gives them a way to say, okay, like let me really think about the things that person said, and let me take that in. It breaks through that wall of distrust. So we all have this layer. We all carry this layer around with us, and sometimes it's really really deep, and sometimes it's not nearly as deep. And that's a good thing to have. Like we all have a way to say, okay, like is this person safe? Is this person trustworthy? We don't. It's built into us for a reason to have to have that judgment and to say, okay, is this safe? Is this a good situation? Like we don't want that to be gone, but we also don't want to employ it in a way that's not helpful. And oftentimes we employ it against ourselves rather than employing it against like maybe there's a person that's untrustworthy in your life that you
Hmm.
are like, no, I'll put that wall down there, but then I stop trusting myself. But with marketing, one of the things that we do is we offer things and we want to get to the other side of that wall because we want to help the person. At least that's the way I approach it.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think that when you're offering something, it is to the betterment of that other person, to the
Hmm.
betterment of their life. And if it's not, then that's when I say, okay, if that's not true, if it's not to somebody's betterment, then I really like rethink what you're offering. Like if you
Yeah.
don't if you don't feel like this is going to make their lives better, then
Hmm.
why are you offering it? Like life is
Hmm.
too short
Hmm.
to offer things to do things that aren't helping everyone else.
Hmm.
And because they don't help you, they're not going to help other people either.
Hmm.
But if you when you see that something has helped you, you can see that it helps other people as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's funny because I was thinking about this the other day. My brother-in-law, he, so this is a good example of marketing, and he doesn't work for a company. He doesn't, but he kept talking about the Milwaukee Fastback 6-in-1, which is a multi-tool. I
Hmm.
carry it with me. I'm what he likes to call an everyday carry because he gave me this and he was telling me how great it was. He's like, it's got a screwdriver it's got a razor blade, it's got all these different things. And I was like, when he first like gave it to me, I was like, all right, whatever. Like, thanks, that's very nice of you.
Uh-huh.
And then he started telling me about all the reasons why he carries it with him every day. Like how
Yeah.
he'll walk up to a door and the handle will be a little bit loose, not even in his house, in like anywhere. And he'll be like, oh, he'll pull out a screwdriver and fix it. And he just told me
I
these
want
little
to invite
stories,
him to my house, go
right?
around and fix all the little things.
And so he was just talking about this knife and how much he loves it and how much he uses it and how much like he's an everyday carry Milwaukee Fastback 6-in-1 and all this
Oh
stuff.
my gosh.
And all of a sudden I was like, oh. And so I started carrying it. And I started, and this is a perfect example of marketing, right? Because
Hmm.
he gave it to me. I was like, okay, well, I'll just try this tool. I'll just carry it with me. And then I was like, oh, hey, that handle's a little bit loose. I pull out my Milwaukee Fastback 6-in-1 and I tighten the door handle. And then, oh, I need a knife to open this package. And I pull it out. And all of a sudden I was like, it was almost like I was like, he didn't realize he was marketing to me.
Right, right.
He was offering me this thing has made a big impact in my life, and so
Hmm.
he gave it to me. And I think about this, like, he's not afraid to tell people about how great this knife is,
Hmm.
because it's made an impact in his life. And I was thinking,
Hmm.
okay, I know coaches who coaching has changed everything about their lives,
Hmm.
and they're more afraid to talk about coaching than my brother-in-law is to talk about this $26 knife.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, he's not afraid to tell everybody, like, this is the best knife, like, you got to get one of these. He'll buy it and give it to people, like. And I was thinking about, like, okay, so if that little knife has made an
Hmm.
impact in his life that he's just willing to just share it everywhere, and
Hmm.
yet coaching has made like this huge impact in our lives. And we're like, oh, I coach people, like, like saying it
Hmm.
like it's a secret, like it's a something to be ashamed of. I was like, hmm,
We
something
got to
a little
fix
bit
this.
backwards. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting because, and I think that, when I work with my clients, one of the things we talk about is kind of this idea of like we're always selling people on something, right? Like him, like when I have something great, I am like, oh my gosh, you got to try this. It's the best thing ever. It's so amazing, right? And so reminding people, especially the people that say, well, I don't know how to sell, like I'm not good at it. It's like, well, no, like think about this, right? There's that. But also, as you were talking, and I'm interested in your thoughts on this, but I think that a lot of times the reason that it can feel different to us, right? Whether I'm saying, oh, like, my this pen is awesome, you should get it, versus this coaching, is that we kind of get in our minds, we kind of like intermingle all of these things, all of these fears we have about ourselves, and we like mix in our own sense of worth, right? Like, so we have all of these parts of us that we're wanting to secure with feeling valid as a human being, deserving, worthy, accepted, right? And we all have like shaky ground on all of those in different ways at different times. And then we like throw that in the mix, and it kind of confuses everything. And I think it makes it pretty hard to be clear and to sell,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I think that's why this kind of goes back to how important it is that, those of you that are a coach or make an impact in your business in some kind of way. And if you struggle with being seen, being heard with marketing, please do not underestimate the importance of doing the work with yourself, right?
Yeah.
That everything we've talked about, and it just it matters, I think, more than we realize.
It really does. Well, because so I think there are two aspects of this. Like, it's hard for us to not make it mean something about us, especially if
Yeah,
it feels like something that we feel really passionate, really has changed our lives.
right.
Like, that in and of itself is hard, right? I'm
It's
sure
personal.
it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it should be. Like, it should be
That's
personal.
right.
It, like, if it's not personal, then it really doesn't matter that much to us. And also, it doesn't have to be personal to someone else. Let me clarify what I mean by that. Like
Mm-hmm.
when we offer something, so like back to that Milwaukee Fastback, right? My brother-in-law, it is part of his identity now, right?
Mm-hmm. I love this.
I mean, people just see him like they know like that's where you're part of the club or that
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. But also when he gave that knife to me,
Mm-hmm.
he was like what do you think of it? I was like, and he said something. He's like, oh, you just don't understand yet. And I was like, oh, like when I take that same element, like it is personal to us how powerful coaching can be.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the other person on the other side just doesn't understand yet. Like
Yeah.
until I started using the coaching, same with the knife, right? Until I started using it, until I started making it part of my identity, making it
Yeah.
part of like what I do every single day, I didn't understand.
Yeah. And
And
that has to be okay, right? It's okay if
yeah,
it's not personal to someone else.
absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people, there are things that that other people don't understand about us all day long.
Right. Right.
Some people might be like, "Oh, I don't understand why you like my daughter hates cilantro because it tastes like soap to her." And I love it. I put it on top of my tacos. I put it in my guacamole, and I'm like, "Well, I don't understand why you don't like
Yeah. Yeah.
cilantro." And she's like, "I don't understand why you do like cilantro." Like,
Uh-huh.
but it doesn't mean I love my daughter any less. I'm not like,
Right.
"Oh, well, if you could just figure out how to like cilantro, then you would be good enough. Then you would." I'm just like, oh, okay, well, you're not gonna like it. And until I actually get to that point where I'm like, it doesn't mean that the cilantro is not good for me. I have a dairy allergy. So somebody could be like, well, you know what? Have you tried this though? Have you tried hard cheeses? Have you tried I'm like, no, it closes up my throat and I like start not being able to breathe. So I'm not going to eat dairy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't make that mean that they're a bad person because they keep saying, do you want these cookies
Yeah.
that have
Yeah.
butter? I'm like, they just don't get it. They don't
Yeah.
understand. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Of course. Right. Oh my gosh, this has been such a good conversation. We're going to wrap up here, and in just a minute, I'd love for you to let people know where they can find you. And we need the link to the knife, apparently. So we'll put that in the show notes. Um, but I want to say a couple things. One is, as Matt was just saying, like it is personal to us, right? And it makes sense that some of our own, I'm going to use this word. I don't know if this is the best word, but kind of some of our own like insecurities or sensitivities would kind of cloud our ability to really be open and seen and heard. And one of the things I said was do your work on that, right? Do your work for yourself with yourself. But as you were talking, I realized I also want to say that it's okay and it's very normal
Yeah.
that that's going to come up for us because right someone could hear this and think, oh, like, well, I shouldn't let my insecurities get in the way. And I no, like at the end of the day, we're all human. You
Yeah.
can't know enough coaching stuff to outrun like the human experience. And
Yes.
so it's okay that it's there, but just know it and continue to just like attend to the needs that we have, right? To feel whole. So just wanted to kind of throw that in there. And so anyway, Matt, this has been such a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I've loved it. I could talk for hours with you.
I think we need to do another podcast
I
episode
love
for
it. I
sure.
love it.
So I would love for you to let our audience know where they can find you and anything about your freebie, and then of course, any last thoughts that you may want to share. So
Totally. Yeah. So my website's Matt Kjar, Kjar. My last name is spelled Kjar. It's lots of people are like Kjar, Kahar, Kala. All it's I take it all. Like it's not. I won't be offended. But it's MattKjar, mattkjar.com. And right there, you can find the freebie for I think it's a 4-part. It's a short video series. I tried to make them pretty quick videos. I have a 4-part system of telling better stories And so that you can get that there. I also have a quiz. I don't think that I have that active right now, but I have a quiz because one of the things that people often are like is what equipment should I buy? And so I have a quiz that and so I can send you that link if
Perfect. We'll put all this in the show notes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So that quiz is basically like if you're looking about which equipment you want to buy, it basically asks you several questions about like your surroundings, your atmosphere, and then like what you want to like, because I could give you studio lighting and you could be like, oh, I don't want to stand in front of studio lighting because it feels overwhelming. And so I have all the options there as well. I just really want you to be seen and heard and tell better stories. The work that you're doing, the impact that you can have on the world. I didn't have to go through coach certification. I didn't have to go through coach training. I had all of the equipment, I had edited the majority of I'd been to several coach trainings before that. So I didn't actually have to go through it, but I decided because I wanted to do the work, just like you talked about, for myself, to really get to that depth of knowing and using the tools for me. And the impact that you can have, that this work has had on me, has been immeasurable in my life. And so I really want more people to have this impact in their lives, to be able to be seen, to be heard, to see themselves, to hear themselves, to tell better stories, not just to the world, but to themselves. Because when you show up as your most authentic self, you are making the world a better place for you and for everyone around you, I believe.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Matt. Thanks everyone for being here. It's like, I sometimes say the coaching world is like the wild, wild west, and you got all kinds of flavors of different coaches, and there's like, get rich quick as a coach, and there's all kinds of things. And I just bringing all of you a coach like Matt, and I know you can hear it. I know you can understand why I wanted to have him here. It just is such a reminder to me that the work of really good coaches that are heart-centered, who are here to support others in changing for the better, it's a really big deal. It's so important. So thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everyone. I'll talk with you next time. Thanks for being here and for investing this time in you. Keep showing up. Keep meeting yourself with compassion. That's truly what Life Mastery is all about. If you loved this episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And I would be honored if you would take the time to leave me a review. This ensures that this important work will get in the hands of more people. And if you're ready to take this work deeper, join me at mollyclaire.com, where you can find all of the ways we can work together. I'll talk with you next week.